Arkadaşlar merhabalar, hoş geldiniz. Biliyorsunuz bugün Exile 1 için yeni sezon tanıtım videosu geliyor. Beraber izleyeceğiz. Umarım herkes iyidir, keyifler yerindedir. Birazdan başlıyor, 17 saniye. Ben de bu video başlarken arkada müziği açık unuttum yanlışlıkla. Tamam. Kapattım. Bir daha giriş yaptım. Şu an chat'i görmüyorsunuz ama onlar yarılıyor buna. Evet, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ver. Gir. Gir. Videoya gir.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games.
Hani?
Welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Mirage, which is coming out 1 week from now on March 6th. Twitch drops
Hani yoktu?
on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Mirage weapon effect by following the instructions below.
Hani
First
yoktu?
things first, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile Mirage.
The Jinn
Dur, izle, tamam, dur.
were bound to serve, but not to suffer. The Aphrodite assault our lands, trapping my Jinn in an astral plane. Break their chains, rescue them, and you will be granted a wish.
Aha.
An ancient evil yearns for his freedom.
Bu kim? Voldemort.
We must keep him in the dark.
Hayır, Voldemort değil. Bu nasıl bir... Oha! Oha! Imbued Gems. Yeni yönükler. Holy Molly. Exceptional Support. Ya Keeper Score'a gel misin? Atlas Fracture mı ne? Ne? Reliquary. Yeni Ascendancy. O ne? Neler oluyor?
In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into Path of Exile Mirage, where you'll unravel ancient mysteries, unlock new powerful rewards, and become part of the eons-old story of the Winter Sekima. There are also significant in-game changes coming alongside Mirage, including a progression of the in-game storyline, a new in-game atlas system, and as always, new rewards to match.
Küçük Johnny'ye geldim ben birazcık.
A slew of new Holy Templar skills and supports, as well as an additional Ascendancy class option added to the Scion, which some of you may find familiar. Next, we'll cover our new supporter packs, and then lastly, have a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile game director Mark, as well as game designer Octavian, your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM NZT or 2 PM PST.
Yama notları da gelecekmiş.
I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. In Path of Exile Mirage, you'll be taking on the Aphrodite, a sect of desert-dwelling necromancers who have lingered in the shadows for centuries.
Necromancer'larmış.
Of outcasts, with no home or promised land.
Tövbe estağfurullah, o ne ya?
They seek their sovereignty through darker means. The Aphrodite have captured the souls of Jinn throughout Rayclast. They are killing them, sapping their energies for purposes unknown. You must fight your way past the Aphrodite's necromantic creations to find the captive Jinn. Here, Varashta, an ancient Marikith sorceress, has been doing what she can to protect the Jinn, but she needs your help to free them.
Path of Exile
After
2'deki
successfully defeating them,
disciple'lar bu Varash'tanınmış.
Varashta to enter the astral realm and break the tether trapping the Jinn there. This gate to the astral realm is a mirage, an imperfect copy of the area around the captured Jinn. Now, when we say an imperfect copy, we mean that quite literally. Hold tight, because this leak mechanic has some serious implications for juicing areas.
Ha, juicing
Get to
dedi.
that in a moment.
Juicing dedi. Loot.
Augment the magic of the Mirage further, as she allows you to enter, giving you the option to choose one of 3 wishes before you do so.
What is your
Ne bu?
These wishes are modifiers that will apply to the Mirage area and have some pretty potent outcomes.
Oğlum Torchlight'taki
Grant extra rewards.
overrun lan bu.
Wish for glyphs, which causes all portal and wisdom scrolls in the Mirage to instead
Overrun mu bu?
or wishes that will spawn rewarding enemies, such as the Wish for Avarice, which replaces a number of packs in the area with gilded enemies that convert their equipment drops to gold.
Bir de level varsa
Wishes that can grant you extreme power while inside the Mirage, such as the Wish for Souls or the Wish for Godhood, which allow you to consume
Ne?
the souls of your enemies or make you completely unkillable.
nasıl ölmüyor muyuz?
The Mirage, of course. Each wish is also marked with the sigil of one of three powerful Jinn: the Sand Jinn, Fire Jinn,
Biz bunları biliyoruz abi Path of Exile 2'den. Build'ını bile yaptık.
sigil chosen. Monsters within the affected Mirage will have a small chance to drop one of three new coin currencies:
Coin.
a coin of knowledge, coin of power, or coin of skill.
Aa. Corrupt.
These coins can be used on a max leveled skill gem, corrupting it and augmenting it with a random support that matches the color of the coin used.
Aa, ne diyorsun? Random mu bunlar?
Only one skill that is imbued this way can be socketed into a given equipment item at a time, meaning you cannot have two imbued skill gems in your body armor. As
Okay.
an example.
Choose what you wish
That's one of the rewards, but let's get back to the area-to-area mechanic.
for you.
Yerdeki eşyalar.
Once you've made your choice of wish, enter the Mirage and fight your way through the monsters and astral hazards to find the tether holding the Jinn. Shatter this chain to free the Jinn, step by step weakening whatever dark plans the Ufarood may have for Rayclast. Wishes are not the only value a Mirage has to offer to an enterprising exile. As we mentioned earlier, Mirages are an imperfect copy of the area the Jinn occupies in Rayclast, and it will copy almost anything, as long
dakika.
as it's within the domain of the Jinn. Mirages created from an endgame map, for instance, will have all Scarab, Atlas, and map
Oo.
modifiers the area had.
Bu cüz, bayağı cüz.
Mirages created next to a strongbox will have a new strongbox ready for you to open.
Oha!
Can be defended again,
Map modifier'ın hepsini alıyor. Bir de Serap modifier'ları mı olacak içinde?
legions fought once more, and so on.
Wow.
Effectively, you get a portion of your map to play a second time. And everything you did to enhance the content of that map applies in the Mirage too.
Oo.
Recreated copies of League mechanics, however, have been warped into reality by the power of the Mirage. And this has some side effects.
Side effect.
A recreation may not be perfect. The factions of a legion may differ from the one the Mirage copied. Or the variety of strongboxes may change. More importantly, the mechanic may be empowered, with new threats and rewards that are customized to each mechanic and are only available when doing that mechanic in the Mirage. For example, ultimatums recreated in Mirages will have new threatening modifiers added to the usual pool. Restless Ground
Oh.
may slain enemies to fight again, or Quicksand.
Ritüel nasıl olacak acaba?
As a reward for these new threats, Mirage ultimatums can provide the new Sinistral or Dextral catalysts. These catalyze jewelry with increased effect of either prefix or suffix modifiers. As you can imagine, there's a lot of potential here. Another example is that Calgurran ore recreated in the Mirage has a chance to be replaced by a thaumaturgic hourglass.
Bu arada videonun
Powerful magical device that your Calgurran friends can mine in order to obtain vast quantities of thaumaturgic dust.
başından beri loot düşmedi yere.
Monsters
Aha.
recreated in Mirages have one of their lanes replaced by Ufarood enemies, infested with blight.
Sarı eşya gördüm bir tane.
This lane can reward a new base type, the Cord Belt. The impulsor
belt.
of this belt allows it to be anointed, causing it to grant a passive tree notable of your choosing.
Ya Torchlight. Bildiğin Torchlight bu.
As a quick note, Imprisoned Jinn will generally be near the content they can empower in the Mirages, so you don't need to worry too much about getting lucky with where your content generates in an area. As the campaign doesn't
Blending,
generally
evet.
contain too much additional league content for the Mirages to empower, we've gone and added a whole bunch that will force spawn near the Jinn. So your campaign experience will double down on being more action-packed and rewarding. Now, of course,
Yeni unikler.
if you're traveling through Mirages, encountering new enemies, and slaying them, you can expect to find some new uniques.
Bakalım ne kadar boş unikler gelmiş.
Torturers, but thieves. And have
Kullanmayacağımız.
over the centuries stolen away priceless Maraketh artifacts.
Artifact tabii.
Using their
Eminim.
powers of rot and disease, they have twisted these items to suit their own purposes. Flesh Render is one such artifact, an ancient and exquisite Maraketh blade that has been tarnished and befouled. Its rusted and jagged edge is perfect for poisoning and withering your enemies.
Assassin bundan bir şey yapar mı?
Varashta has in her command the power to restore these once lost Maraketh treasures to their former glory. Acquiring a coin of restoration by slaying monsters in Mirages allows any unique obtained from the Upper Rood to be transformed into its Maraketh counterpart,
Ne?
its glorious original form.
Oğlum Holy Avenger oldu.
For example, transforms into Sky Sunder, the original Maraketh blade that radiates with the glowing heat of the desert sun. When you ignite monsters, Sky Sunder reflects that ignite back to you, which proliferates to nearby enemies in a massive area.
Ne diyorsun?
If you meddle with the affairs of the Upper Rood for too long, though, you may draw the ire of the Mirage League's new
Voldemort. Geldi.
Suresh of the Weeping Black.
Abi bu nasıl bir fetiş ya?
Suresh also has a set of powerful, exclusive items. Yours for the taking, if you're able to defeat him.
Diamond Shrine.
So that's
Çok
the Mirage
defansif.
League. Now, to face all the new evils, you might want some righteous skills. Some holy skills.
Holy Skill.
In 328, you'll have access to a slew of new options to bring divine devastation and return the faithless to their rightful graves.
Diablo 4.
We're also
Benim
introducing
paladinim varsa
them, as well as some new
bizim de
transfigured gems.
Holy
Let's
Skill'lerimiz
go
var.
over a few examples. With holy hammers, you slam the ground to call down a hammer of justice from the sky.
Peki.
If this hits an enemy, an additional holy hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further cascade, and so forth. Expending a power charge when using the skill will call down an additional 2 hammers, which can also cause cascading slams. The more numerous your foes, the more instruments of holy judgment. Sweep is an old skill. In fact, it is so old that
Holy
it's one of
Sweep.
the very first skills ever implemented in Path of Exile, over 15 years ago. It's been long overdue for some attention. With 328, it has been reworked into Holy Sweep.
Holy Sweep.
It'll convert some of your physical damage to lightning, with shiny new effects to match.
Oğlum
Some enemies
ne
struck
bu?
by the initial
Monk
sweep
skill'i.
will have hammers of light battle.
Wording Assault.
These hammers cause area damage where they land, so clustered enemies are demolished by repeated impacts. When successfully hitting an enemy with Holy Strike, you'll summon forth a floating holy armament, a glowing mace that follows you closely.
Oğlum FRP'de böyle büyü var lan.
And will attack with Holy Strike themselves whenever you do.
Klerik büyüsü. Spiritual Weapon.
Will copy the stats of your main hand weapon.
FRP oynayanlar bilir.
Stand against your foes with Shield of Light, a retaliation skill which will allow you to
Ay,
unleash
retaliation.
holy light upon
Bizim
enemies
build belli
after
oldu.
blocking a hit with your shield.
Block build'ı
Additional cones of light will also pour forth from your nearby allies when you hit
bununla beraber Simulacrum
Holy
15.
Army to create purging light.
Çok rahat, çok profesyonel.
Beam of holy light from your shield, coalescing into a hovering ball of energy. A few moments later, this unstable orb bursts, exploding outward with divine power. Hallow supports melee attacks, causing them to inflict a new debuff, Hallowing Flame. Hallowing Flame builds up as charges on enemies, getting consumed when attacked. Consuming a stack of Hallowing Flame gives the attack that consumed it a significant amount of extra fire damage. But only those who did not inflict the hallowing flame are able to consume it. Perfect for those of you who enjoy a more supportive playstyle with your army of holy sentinels. Or friends, when they're online. We've also added sources of this debuff to a number of other places, such as unique items, cluster jewels,
Cluster...
and the Guardian Ascendancy class.
Guardian değişmiş. Hadi bakalım.
We also have another batch of new transfigured gems.
Bak bunlar kırık olabilir.
These being variants for gems which previously had none.
Bunlar kırık
One
olabilir.
example is the Shockwave Totem of Authority, which casts its higher damage dealing Nova at your location instead of its own.
Bak mesela.
You might also enjoy Orb of Storms of Squalls. These storms warp directly to targets when you use lightning skills, and arc lightning upon doing so.
Aha!
This gives you a mobile storm of destruction
Bak
that follows you as you dive into battle.
bu aklınızda olsun. Bu squalls çok tehlikeli.
Skills for you to comb through in the patch notes.
Bu squalls çok tehlikeli olabilir.
Patch notes. As always, we love to shake up the meta, so we've done a bunch of balance adjustments to a few other things as well, such as a pass on bloodline classes, expanded the passives available to the Templar section of the passive tree,
Templar ha?
various improvements to existing holy themed skills such as Static Strike,
Arkadaşlar.
Holy Flame Totem,
Kel Holiver.
and Dominating Blow.
Templar'ı başlıyoruz. Shield build'ı
Also
yapıyoruz.
doing our usual improvement to some of the least played Ascendancy classes. This time with a focus on Guardian and Warden. Speaking of Ascendancies, let's talk about the Scion and her new Reliquarian Ascendancy class.
Sion
For those that have played the
Silivri'de.
Legacy Freesia events, this class will seem familiar. The Reliquarian is a learned Scion that has studied history at the Oriath Academy.
aristokrat.
She is a part of a secret society of Oriathans, dedicated to collecting and discerning the strange properties of unique items. All of her passive powers come from these unique items, found from throughout Rayclast.
Bu arada başlangıç bu.
After ascending, first select the power of a unique armor. Victario's influence increases the level of all your auras and gives them a much larger area of effect.
Direkt başlangıç abi bu.
Or instead, take Kilowava's Bluster, giving you a chance to have extreme elemental resistance against incoming hits. Next, pick from a unique weapon power. Widow Hail greatly increases the bonuses gained from your quiver. Or Martyr's Teaching, which causes your minions' critical strike chance with attacks to be equal to your main hand weapons.
Oyunun başında
Lastly,
bütün
take
unikler.
your Crown Jewel, a unique jewelry power. Astral Projector causes Nova spells to cast from enemies rather than from yourself.
Oh.
Astramentus, simply giving you a huge boost to all your attributes.
Suyundan da koy.
Due to all the ways you can mix and match unique powers, the Reliquarian has more flexibility in how you build it compared to any other Ascendancy class in the game. Our plan going forward is for the Reliquarian to not be a static Ascendancy class, and between each expansion, the unique powers which are offered will change.
Arkadaşlar
If you don't like what she offers this expansion, hopefully she'll have the power of your favorite unique item in the next one.
bir de değişecekmiş güzel.
Time to move on to the end game.
Arkadaşlar yere loot düşmüyor.
This expansion, we have
Loot'u
added to
artık
liven up the end game.
Giltry'den
Players
vereceğiz.
new
Ascendancy'den.
experiences, strategies to leverage,
Müthiş.
and streamlining or removing the more frustrating tasks. Extensive changes will be coming to the Atlas and how you engage with maps, without interfering with the beloved core experience that has made mapping so successful.
In the last few endgame updates, you experienced Zana's story.
Evet.
How she helped defeat the Elder, tried to stop exiles from going mad in the Atlas, and faced new threats pouring forth from it. In the most recent expansion, she eventually realized that there was only one way forward: to destroy the Atlas. Zana's recent actions have now weakened the already strained and tattered edges of its realities, reshaping how we interact with the Atlas entirely.
To explain how this changes your interactions with the Atlas, we first want to establish some context while having a bit of a trip down memory lane.
27 expansions ago, back in Path of Exile 3.1.0, The War for the Atlas, we had a mechanic on the Atlas where the Shaper and Elder were engaged in war.
Evet.
This manifested as influence regions on the Atlas that affected specific maps. The ever-changing influence regions made the Atlas feel more like a physically connected space, rather than just a fancy way of visualizing a checklist of completed maps. However, one of the main frustrations with this mechanic was that you constantly needed many different specific maps in order to manipulate the influenced regions.
We realized we'd love to again have mechanics that manifest physically on your Atlas, but we'd have to address the issue of always needing those specific maps.
The first major change we'll be making to solve this is divorcing map items from specific areas.
Ne?
As an example, instead of having a Mesa map, you will now find, say, a Tier 10 map. To open a Mesa map now, just locate and select Mesa on your Atlas, put in your map item, click activate, and you're good to go.
Huh?
That Mesa may drop a Tier 11 map. You can then immediately return to your map device, which will default to the last map run, and then run it again. Or choose a new map to use it on. It's your choice.
Ha. Tamam, güzel güzel güzel. Güzel
This
güzel.
is one of the many benefits to this change.
Bu okey.
If you're the type of player who enjoys chaining the same map over and over,
Aynı map'i
player
yapabileceksin.
who prefers to jump around, it is equally easy to do either strategy or even switch between them at a moment's notice. For example, if one day you're farming burial chambers, hoping to eventually get a headhunter from
Evet.
donation cards,
Aynen.
and you decide you need a change of rhythm, you can seamlessly switch
Tamam,
to
bu
your
güzel.
farming Atlas tree,
Abi siyer bulmakla uğraşmayacaksınız
killing efficiency.
gibi düşünün.
Now, this would have required having some Mesa maps stashed, setting all your favorite maps
Ya da
to
öyledir
Mesa,
inşallah.
or doing a whole bunch of trading. You'll also notice that the structure of the Atlas has changed. If you haven't played in a while, here's a look at it before and after. You will now begin at the center of the Atlas, with each corner housing one of 4 Voidstone slots. In addition, all content accessed from your map device now exists physically on the Atlas.
Voidstone'lar gitti mi?
Everything available in the endgame as you reveal the Fog of War.
Hala var mı Voidstone'lar?
This also means that all unique maps are now present on the Atlas, including some old favorites that are appearing for the first time. Don't worry though, you don't need to complete Hall of Grandmasters every league. You now gain 1 Atlas skill point per unique map completed, up to a maximum of 10. Given there are around 20 unique maps, you only need to complete the half you want, if you can get your hands on them. Note, you aren't losing any Atlas skill points.
Okay.
These have been moved to new places, and actually, you can get more than before. Due to Zana's actions, Egan now has a new goal and is determined to stop Zana's destruction
Bari
by
ismini
making use of a
değiştirseydiniz.
mysterious new discovery.
Ay astrolog koymuşlar.
Astrolabes. Zana is currently traversing the threads that weave the Atlas together, severing them. With these new astrolabes, Egan is able to trace her movement, but using them causes dangerous side effects. When you use an astrolabe on a map on the Atlas,
Golden Cage
a
geliyor evet.
shaped region will manifest itself in that quadrant, affecting many of the maps within it. There are many different kinds of astrolabes, and they apply different types of shaped regions.
Bunlar üst üste biniyor mu?
For example, an abyssal region, which
Bilmez
causes
herhalde.
all the maps to have an additional abyss. Or a blighted region, which adds a blight encounter. Completing the content added by the astrolabe will remove the shaped region's influence from that map. Upon doing so, every other map remaining in the shaped region will gain an additional modifier. This means as you progress through the shaped region, maps you run will become more and more intense, with the relevant mechanic getting more and more juiced.
Ha, abi bu ama bütün mapleri yapmaya zorluyor.
Finally,
At the end of the region of maps, once you have successfully rid the atlas of the shaped region, Egan will take you to one of 4 memory vaults, where there are powerful rewards to be had. He cares only for the knowledge hidden within that vault, so any items are yours for the taking. Each vault is associated with a specific quadrant on the atlas, so you're able to target a certain vault if you're wanting to try get a specific type of reward. One such vault is the Archon's Vault, where you'll be rewarded with powerful unique items. Or the Zealot's Vault, to acquire valuable currency items.
Divine Orb düştü ilk defa yayının başından beri.
This shaped region system is one that promotes
O da mekanikten geldi yine.
But for players that want to engage with this new system while still wanting to run the same map over and over again, the synthesized stability keystone on the Atlas tree enables exactly that. With all the new endgame changes, we thought it would be also good to mention some handy tips and tricks for quickly navigating the new Atlas.
Bu skill ne
When
lan?
using the map device, the Atlas defaults to your previously run map. So running the same map over and over is as few clicks as possible. You can right-click unique maps or map fragments in your inventory to automatically open your Atlas to that location,
Güzel güzel.
map already placed and ready to run.
Güzel.
When you select a
Quality of life.
that requires multiple
İlk defa
items,
görenler
such as
subhanallah.
fight at Zeri or open the domain of timeless conflict, if you have the fragments to access that in your inventory, it will automatically add them to the map device in the right spot. That's the core of the new endgame. But there's a lot more endgame changes coming in 3.28. Let's blast through them. Over the last few expansions, we've been working on streamlining the mapping experience. And we wanted to continue to minimize busy work so you can spend more time doing what you love, killing monsters and getting loot.
Nimiz mi var bunun
To that
karakterde?
end, we've made a number of changes. We won't get into too much detail, but here's a quick summary of what you can expect to have received adjustment.
Loot gözüksün diye filtre koymamışlar. Mavi, sarı ne varsa düşüyor yere.
And map device crafts entirely. The loss of content and loot here has been compensated for in other places. Void Stones now grant special global bonuses while socketed on your Atlas.
Tamam, sadece map tier için takılacak
Adding the
bunlar.
new Originator Void Stone, which enables specific Atlas bosses to drop exceptional supports. We'll elaborate more on that in the next section. T17 maps as you know it have effectively been removed. The bosses have been kept around, and they better fulfill their original purpose of being a gateway to target farm uber pinnacle bosses. The most annoying modifiers on Originator maps have been removed or replaced. No more getting turned into a slug for simply using skills. And no more will you be incapable of dealing damage periodically.
Wow. Oğlum hayat kolaylaştıran şeyler yapıyorlar.
Originator maps have been removed. However, some of their effects are now available from the altars and memory threads.
Aa.
Memory tears, instead of adding a memory thread to your Atlas, will now drop an itemized version of that thread, allowing you to save it for later or trade it at your leisure. We've added new scarabs, such as this Expedition Scarab of Infusion, which can generate some truly tempting logbooks. And for those of you looking to take on the ultimate one-on-one fight, the Anarchy Scarab of the
Exceptional
Exceptional is
rogue.
a true antagonist-level rogue exile threat in your map.
Hayda.
Powered by every type of Wildwood Wisp, possessed by a tormented spirit, augmented with rare monster modifiers, and affected by a shrine, this exile is not to be trifled with.
Sıçtık.
Alongside that, we've also changed some, such as the Beyond Scarab of Resurgence, which now causes all 3 Beyond bosses to appear when a Beyond boss would spawn in your map.
Hem de her şeyden etkilenmiş Rogue Exile.
On top of that, we've made improvements to a number of weak Atlas Tree passives, such as Pillage and Plunder, which now grants a chance for items dropped by Syndicate members to have a Fractured Veiled mod.
Fractured Veiled mod.
Check out the new The Paths Not Taken key,
Fractured Veiled mod.
which means your maps on average will drop twice as many divination cards.
Ne diyorsun?
But which ones can drop?
Fracture'ı mı seçeceğiz? Ne?
And last, but not least, we've also made some changes to King's March shipping, such as we've swapped the rewards given by sending ore and crops. I wonder what this new port will send back.
Motiora gelmiş.
Ports will now give more rewards for favored resources. And you
Millet
can
nerfleyin diyor. Daha da buffladınız mı bunları?
if they're not offering what you're after. Specific ports will now reward specific tattoos and rune grafts, making it easier to target the ones you want.
Yine bufflam.
Not to mention, the Kalgurans have discovered several new powerful rune grafts for you to get your hands on,
Ya
such as the Rune Graft of Fury, which causes you to gain rage on using a life flask, and the Rune Graft of Resurgence, which causes Arcane Surge to also grant life regeneration.
ne Settlers oynayacağız.
We mentioned earlier about the Originator Voidstone enabling access to exceptional supports. So let's get into that, as there's a decent amount to cover. After defeating the incarnations of Fear, Neglect, and Dread, you will obtain the Originator Voidstone. As mentioned earlier, this Voidstone allows new, exceptional support gems to drop from many bosses across the Atlas. These new supports are an improvement over the old Awakened support system,
Ne?
which is being phased out.
Aa. O da mı değişti?
Awakened supports have long been a capstone investment for a character.
Awakened'ı
There's a
Greater
system
mi
of goals
yaptınız?
between the more interesting ones, such as Awakened Spell Cascade, which has some additional transformative effect, as opposed to some of the simpler Awakened supports, which
Ama
just have slightly
nerflenmişler.
higher numerical values.
Power creep. Düşmüş yani.
Exceptional supports will all be transformative, serving as an additional late game tool to customize your build around.
En pahalısı bu olacak yine değil mi?
Character customization
Greater
and
Mouth
variation
Strike'ı koymuşlar.
even later into a build's life. One of the goals here is to provide interesting build choices even at later levels and deep into the endgame. However, we are certainly not aiming to reduce top-end player power with these changes. Exceptional supports will still be super strong. If used well, they will catapult your character even further than before. So, how many are there, and what exactly do they do?
Ne kaç tane
There
lan?
are over 40 new exceptional supports to discover,
40.
adding additional enticing drops to bosses
Yuh.
that may otherwise have felt not as worthwhile to run, giving players extra reason to take on those challenges.
Oğlum
For instance, from the King in the Mists, we have the Hex Toad support. This support creates areas of swampy cursed ground, which spawns toads that bounce towards enemies and then explode, dealing chaos damage.
Path of Exile 2 King.
From the Uber Elder, we have the Void Storm support, which causes your raining attacks to create celestial storms of energy that grow over time.
O Increase Zaraya ile beraber tüm ekrana
Damage.
void açma. Böyle.
Defeating the incarnation of Neglect may win you the Frost Mage support. Similar to the existing Archmage support, you are rewarded for stacking mana to enhance your spells with extraordinary cold damage.
Endgame bu kesin.
We'll
Frost
test more
Mage.
of these before launch.
Maksimum manayı görürseniz
Many more for
endgame.
you to discover. Keepers of the Flame is coming
Ya
back.
kapat, kapat.
We do know that many players have issues with the walls in Hive encounters.
Hah,
In order to address these concerns, we'll be making a number of changes.
hah
One
neymiş?
of the biggest problems is that walls would block your projectiles.
Evet doğru.
That when a hive randomly spawned in your map, it would make it harder to clear. In order to prevent that, walls and hive encounters will now be destroyed by any damage.
Ha, Wall'lar ve hive'lar her şeyden
Also wanted to
etkileniyor.
make sure we reduce the visual clutter they cause.
Ama
Hives and their walls are
onların orada oluşu haritadaki monster yoğunluğunu etkiliyor.
Hive encounters quicker when they do want to help Aelith. We've added a new Atlas passive which drastically increases the detonation area of unstable burrows, causing them to reliably chain react and destroy the majority of remaining walls. For those who don't want to deal with the walls at all, there's now a pair of keystones that allow you to block hive encounters or unstable breaches.
Ha tamam. Bunları alacağız arkadaşlar. Bunları alıp yok hive'dır, duvardır hepsini kaldırıyoruz. Bitti
You don't
gitti.
have to grow your Genesis tree from scratch on every league start. So now, each womb gift slot is already usable by default, and access to the Monastery of the Keepers will be gained by finding Aelith starting in Act 6 Mudflats.
Vereceğiz o puanları abi. Bu duvarlarla mı uğraşacağız yine?
And Scarab support, you can have multiple unstable breach encounters active in a single area.
for maximum ruckus. Speaking of Atlas Tree and Scarab support, we've added plenty. Here are a few examples. The Massing Forces Atlas notable grants a chance to have additional unstable breaches in your maps. The Breach Scarab of the Marshal guarantees a breach boss or high fortress. While the
Mekanik kadar iğrenç bir şey yok bu arada.
replaces all of Aelith's skills with Enrage the Hive, increasing the difficulty and reward from high.
Bazı build'lar bunu yapamıyor. Bunu yapamıyorlar abi. Dört bir taraftan gelmesi saçma çünkü.
But we've moved several of the graft skills to new exceptional supports, such as the Hiveborn support, which summons an army of breach minions to do your bidding when you use a supported offering skill. And the Foul Grasp support, which calls forth a field of grasping breach hands when you recall brands, exploding for heavy lightning damage when enemies approach them. We're looking forward to seeing how these improvements and additions are received, alongside a lot of what Keepers also has to offer. From the new
Keepers
bosses and their bloodline, through to the Genesis tree and its many different crafting options.
yine abi loot'un
Uniques.
5 para değeri olmayacak.
We look forward to extrapolating on all of this and learning more about Aelith, the Hiveborn, and its Breach Lords in the future. That covers all the new content we're adding, and that was a lot. From a new in-game system, several new reward types, new ways to juice maps, all of which you can double up in the new Mirage League, and all that alongside a suite of new holy skills,
Yine rare.
tendency class, and an insane amount of new character
Tamam
customization
güzel.
in game.
Harika ama
However,
yerden rare
part
alamayacağız.
of Path of Exile expansions is making sure there is a continued effort to improve quality of life. So let's get into that now. You can now favorite trades on the currency exchange.
Tamam bunu biliyoruz.
This consists of selecting two currencies that you want to be able to trade between with a single click.
Tamam
And
çok
setting
güzel.
them as a favorite trade.
Kollar çok iyi.
Favorite trades will appear by default on opening the currency exchange and will still auto-suggest a ratio based on recent trade data.
Ağacı kaldırsalar çok mutlu
A
olacaktım.
further improvement to the currency exchange is
Yine rare eşya lootlayamayacağız arkadaşlar.
While you have
Yine
the exchange
loot yok
window.
oyunda. Olmayacakken maalesef.
Now, when trading in a full set of divination cards, it will automatically be handed in to become the resultant item.
Çünkü her şeyi ağaçtan alacaksınız.
Immediately, the reward from the previous set will be transferred to your inventory directly, assuming there's enough free space to do so. Labyrinth font crafts that previously gave a random transfigured gem now allow you to choose which transfigured gem of that type you'd like to receive. The asynchronous trade item sale history is now hoverable, with full item descriptions
Lan
of
Headhunter'ı var 5-10 kaostluk eşya mı satıyorsun?
when using divine orbs, you can now tell exactly which modifiers
Kadir'im, hoş
are
geldin.
randomized.
Nice 14'leri.
The ritual icon will now glow if you've got significant unspent tribute in an area and all rituals are complete. And a pop-up will appear after the final ritual completion.
Bu ritüeli birazcık daha
Also on the topic of ritual, you can now quick use vessels on completed rituals.
birazcık daha böyle ekrana da yaysalar
Tried to collect
şikayetçi
the Divine
olmazdım.
Shrine, surrounded by enemies, and find it extremely difficult to click? Well, shrines now take priority over monsters when clicking in an area they overlap. Since 3.24, we've been looking to add new ways to improve the campaign experience, and 3.28 is no different. This patch, we've added over 20 landmark rooms throughout the campaign, scattered across all 10 acts. Some of these reward some pretty useful stuff, so keep an eye out for the new and unexpected rooms, side passages, chests, and encounters as you progress throughout.
Bunlar inşallah tekrar edilebilir olmaz yoksa acayip ebüzlenirler.
But we'll show you just one. There is now a small central island in the Kalari Fortress.
Bari farklı
All
bir şey
inhabitants of which will
konuşsaydınız.
drop a basic tattoo when
Sosyal
slain.
medyaya verdiklerini aynen buraya koymuşlar.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
Geldik.
Today, we're launching two new series of supporter
Neyse bunlar
packs.
komik olabiliyor, izleyelim.
Curator of Wisdom
Aha! Gandalf!
and Iron Incarcerator packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power
or progression in any way. The Curator of Wisdom series of supporter packs contains 7 exclusive microtransactions.
Mavi hapı al bence.
The Traveling Wisdom back attachment has all the necessary tools you may require to chronicle your journey, complete with a helpful rat friend.
Aha fare.
These chronicles
Bu
will
mis de
activate
bu.
magic upon identifying items and will track
Aralarında
the
diyalog
number
var
of
mı?
items identified of each rarity. Just hover the or link it in chat to show it off.
Abi bu olmamış.
The acquired wisdom
Neden
unique
identify
finisher effect
ettiğim şeyleri?
summons an ancient scroll that consumes unique enemies and the knowledge they
Eftan benimle toş toş geçecek 100 tane rare mi lootladın yerden diye.
piles of scrolls while traveling Rayclast, but the Grand Curator of Wisdom armor set is perfect for the adventurous scholar. Any expert curator knows that scrolls hold more than just knowledge, they also hold power. As you cast spells, the scrolls attached to the armor will burn away, before rematerializing shortly after. It also features a series of helmet variations, so you can get precisely the look you're after. Summon your Scroll Shaper familiar pet to follow alongside you. This creature is formed from folded magical texts and can shapeshift
Origami
between different
peti
forms.
getirmişler.
You can
Oha
think of
çok
this as
güzel.
having multiple pets in one.
Bak en güzeli bu.
Fold into a fox, and then even burn away, reforming into a flying bird.
Yani Phoenix. Ha çok güzelmiş lan.
This series of packs also contains the Scroll Portals, jumbo-sized versions of the Scroll of Wisdom and Portal Scroll that you can make a quick retreat through. A supreme catalogue of knowledge can't remain in one place for too long and risk being pillaged by thieves. The Titan Apex Hideout features a colossal titan who carries your base of operations atop their shoulders, constantly moving through a boundless desert.
Ciddi misin? Çok güzel, çok orijinal.
The
This
Iron
word.
Incarcerator pack also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Incarcerator's Restraints back attachment features stockades that were used to immobilize prisoners by binding them to the earth as they were tortured for their wrongdoings. Shackles envelop your choice of torturing device when using the chains of the
Bu
Incarcerator
ne
weapon
maskeli
effect.
balo skini mi? Beyaz beyaz.
These chains shatter into links as you batter enemies. Make your way through Rayclast as a walking penitentiary, intimidating your enemies with the elite Iron Incarcerator armor set. After a long day of tracking down criminals, step into the Iron Maiden portal to retreat to your torture chamber. It acts as a great deterrent for would-be intruders. This peculiar creature was a favorite amongst incarcerators. They would be sent into the midst of prison riots to mesmerize and control the toughest of minds. Use their talents to charm other players' pets, causing them to abandon their owners and follow in line behind you instead,
Hayda.
until it wears off.
O ne? Petini çaldı.
Better way to execute prisoners when your torturing has depleted their value? Harvest their souls to fuel this map device, condemning them to eternal incarceration. Your kills within the map are also recorded based on the rarity of the monster.
Bu skin
You can choose to pin an
İlgi
execution
çekici.
session that you're satisfied with on this miniature leaderboard, which is displayed for all that dare enter your hideout.
o skill güzel bir skill.
Additionally, all microtransactions from these supporter packs
Çok dikkat
will
çekiyor.
be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
Hepsini Path of Exile 2'de kullanabiliyorsunuz.
Support.
Dünyanın en çirkin kedisini alıp.
Just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D.
Okay.
Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile Mirage at 11 a.m. New Zealand time, 2 p.m. Pacific.
Bundan sonra yama notları
With
geliyormuş.
release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
Önümüzdeki
Keep an eye
haftada
on the news.
yama için, sezon için bir şeyler gelecekmiş. Dostlar, video bu şekilde. Ziggy'de olan Q&A'yı izlemeyeceğiz. Çok uzun sürüyor ve birazcık orası ego mastürbasyona dönüyor. O yüzden YouTube teşekkür ediyorum izlediğiniz için. Yani heyecanlandığım yerler oldu ama açık konuşayım, böyle şey değil. Nedir? Çılgın hype olamadım. Güno. Bazı şeyleri Torchlight'e çok benzemiş. Torchlight oynayanlarınız, bu arada kendimi büyüteyim biraz. Artık Küçük Johnny'den büyük Johnny'ye geçelim. Bazı yerleri böyle çok benzemiş Torchlight'a. Bazı Mirage mekaniği tamamen oynamayanlarınız vardır. Torchlight'ta tamamen Overram diye bir mekanik var. Ona çok acayip benziyor. Denenebilir, bakılabilir ama çok bilmiyorum, siz ne düşünüyorsunuz? Yani izlediniz o kadar, yorumları da yazabilirsiniz. Ben işte birazcık bu videoyu bitirdikten sonra chatle de muhabbet edeceğim. Siz de yorumlara yazabilirsiniz. Ne hissettiniz, heyecanlanabildiğiniz bazı yerler güzel gözüküyor ama bazı yerler böyle, özellikle biri için core olma kısmı beni irite etti birazcık. Yine rare konusu vesaire. Bakalım, göreceğiz. Neyse, buraya kadar izlediğiniz için teşekkür ederim. Önümüzdeki hafta yine Path of Exile 1 ve diğer içeriklerle devam edeceğiz. Sonraki videolarda görüşelim. Eğer beğendiyseniz bir beğeni, takip etmelisiniz de bir takibinizi rica ederim. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşçakalın.